What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Battle Cage. It's your boy Saif, your host, and I am back. I'm sorry I've been missing in action for some time. Some of you actually reached out, so I appreciate that. You're like, where you at, homeboy? Let's get back in this business. And I'll be honest with you, so this is an explanation. This is not an apology by all means. I was away on vacation, and I deserve it. I did very well on the June 4th card. I told you I was coming in with a lot of energy, and you guys should have capitalized with me because I did good. So I'm hoping you guys did well. In between, we had the pay-per-view event. It was all right. It wasn't crazy. I wasn't like major profitable. I was actually negative that night, but I felt it, and I didn't want to make a video. And I said, I'm just gonna go on vacation. I'm just gonna chill out, right? So that's basically what happened. I recommend vacations for everybody. Take vacations. Enjoy this beautiful summer. So with that being said, let's jump on to the business. And the business is UFC Fight Night, Kattar versus Emmett. It's going down tomorrow, June 18th. It's in front of a live audience. It's in Austin, Texas. So the Texas judges are back. So be careful. You already know what time it is over there. So with that being said, 14 cards to break down. I'm gonna do my best. To keep this a 30-minute video. I am actually hard set on 30 minutes. So if that requires me skipping a few fights, it's going to be skipped. I'm not going to play this card. I'm not going to play those fights. Then why should I even bother talking about it? It's just pointless, right? But there are a few bangers that we have to give some detail. So I'm going to reserve that time for that. So talking is done. Let's go. Couple of things. I'm going to be jumping between Topology and ESPN for presentation purposes and more information to present. So I'm going to try to, be as concise as possible and as clean as possible. So with that being said, lastly, my presentation is not sponsored by anything. So full disclaimer, the lines that I will be referencing is BetMGM. I'm not sponsored by BetMGM or any books, at least at the moment. I would love to. Give me some money, guys, if you're watching. But in either case, the lines that I'm going to be referencing are BetMGM, and they're not for any particular reason. But that's the first app that was, I was using the app, and it just happens to be open. So I'm just going to be going with that. I usually reference. What is it called? DraftKings. I love DraftKings. Recommend DraftKings. Sponsor me, DraftKings, in the future. But yeah, I basically, I don't have a particular loyalty, so I'd be just referencing everything else. Any book that's more convenient. So right now we're going to be just referencing that for argument. And between the lines, they're usually plus or minus 5 to 10. There's usually, they're usually pretty good, but definitely shop around if you're looking for the most value. That's it. Introduction is done. Blah, blah, done. No more talking. It's time to talk about business. Kyle Daukaus versus Roman Dolidze is the first fight we're going to break down. This is a middleweight affair. We have Kyle Daukaus, the Dark Knight, taking on the Caucasian Roman Dolidze. 29 years of age for Kyle Daukaus, 33 on the brink of being 34 in 1 month. So both guys are pretty tall, pretty large guys, 6'3", 6'2". Roman Dolidze is a little bit more of a muscle-bound, thicker guy. At the weigh-ins, came in looking all right. Kyle Daukaus came in looking all right. Everything's fine. No, nothing particularly, crazy that I saw. So yeah, they both look okay. So what's my take? My take is the pick is Kyle Daukaus. Why? The pick is Kyle Daukaus because I believe he is the more rounded fighter, and his wrestling and BJJ is going to come at play. If Roman Dolidze cannot take out Kyle Daukaus, say the first, maybe midway second round, he's going to start to, get a little bit tired, start getting gas out. He is a bigger, larger guy. He did go the distance with Staropoli, but again, levels to this game, Staropoli can compare him to Kyle Daukaus. The pick is Kyle Daukaus. His current line, let me pull that up for you guys so we can reference it. As of right now, I am looking at a live line, and Kyle Daukaus is around minus 275. He opened around minus 225. So there has been movement. Nothing great, nothing like he didn't start 225 and now he's minus 400. Nothing like that. He does have He is vulnerable, maybe getting punched or whatever. There's always that respect for Roman Dolidze. But the pick is there. Let me just look at some statistics for you guys. So let me go there. So what we have here is strikes landed, significant strikes landed per minute. Oh, sorry about that. Let me just. I got this ad playing in the back, and it's just upsetting. I hate ads, by the way. All right, that's taken care of. So Roman Dolidze and Kyle Dawkins, significant strikes landed per minute. Gonna give a little bit of a favoritism to Kyle Dawkins, although you never know how this fight is. Roman Dolidze may decide to let his hands go, and he's just going to do the work here. So we're going to put a little arrow over here favoring Kyle Dawkins. The accuracy, going to give another little arrow to Kyle Dawkins. Takedown average, hovering around the same, but I will tell you the better exchange in grappling will be Kyle Dawkins. So even if one of them takes one down, it's probably going to favor Kyle Dawkins. If we're looking at the submission average, which would be the biggest threat in ending the fight, because I don't... perhaps Roman Dolidze can do some ground and pound and end the fight there. But Kyle Dawkins is tough, man. He's very, very tough. And so we're going to give the submission average an arrow to Kyle Dawkins. So we got 3 arrows favoring him in terms of accuracy because he's the bigger guy. We're going to give 1 arrow if he goes and he commits to a takedown. I don't see why he can't. So far we got more arrows pointing to Kyle Dawkins, and hence why I'm going to say he is the pick in my book. He's younger fighter, so he has more. His growth potential is a lot more than Roman because Roman is already a finished fighter. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. That's pretty much the fight. In terms of final verdicts here, I am probably gonna suggest people playing Kyle Dawkins as I would say a moderate to heavy confident pick. That's how I'm playing here. I'm using him as a moderate, so meaning my unit plays on him or involving him are gonna be obviously moderate. They're not gonna be blown out of proportion, but he's definitely a play. So we're gonna go with Kyle Dawkins here. That's where I see things are going, and I have decided to play him. So more favoritism for Kyle Dawkins here. Nothing much else to say. So we're gonna look at the next fight. All right, got the next fight here. We got Phil Hawes taking on Darren Wynn. Phil Hawes, as much as I hate to say it, he's gonna be the pick, but he's not the play. So that's very important to distinguish. The pick is Phil Hawes, but he's not played. Why? He should win. He's the bigger guy. He's going to be outsizing Darren Wynn, 6-footer to 5'9". The reach is there. You know what I'm saying? The record is okay, even though he got cracked out by Chris Curtis in his last fight. But I just don't understand. I still don't understand. I'm trying to understand. I still do not understand why Darren Wynn cannot get his diet strict, close his mouth, eat some salad. He's a good wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He's from AKA, so he is training with, under the likes of Khabib, believe it or not. He's getting some work in with him. That speaks volume, right? He's running around and, wrestling with the Dagestani boys. So we know the wrestling is there. He's wrestling and he's putting work with DC. So it's there. He's just so small, he's my height. He's 5'6", and so both things, right? I give him respect on one hand, and I think that, that he's extremely brave, but on the other hand, he's extremely stupid, and he's not doing enough justice for him. I don't know if he's afraid to lose the strength or power. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna speculate here, but I believe if he would have cut down to, let's say, lightweight, he would be a problem. Featherweight, problem, right? Problem. But again, it is what it is. He's just severely undersized for the middleweight division. The pick is Phil Hawes. I don't trust him enough because as much as I see disadvantages, I see a scenario where Darren Wynn just outworks Phil Hawes and takes him down and basically grinds him for 3 rounds. Or maybe even gets a submission. Who knows? We've seen the crazy things. The pick is Phil Hawes. I'm not gonna play him. I'm not sure how you guys want to play him, but he's a parlay piece at best. That's the concrete ruling on this fight. I'm not even gonna refer the data. There's no point to refer to the data on the ESPN screen. It's just it is what it is. I'm not playing him. I'm not gonna go too heavy on it, and that's pretty much all I gotta say on this fight. Okay, let's move on. Alrighty, we got Cody Stamann taking on 80 Wineland. This is a bantamweight scrap. Both guys, I believe, made weight. Everything is good to go there. The Spartan, Cody Stamann, is on a three fight losing skid here. He's taking on 80 Wineland, who's also on a losing streak. He has 2 L's back to back here. This is probably a career eliminator fight, in my opinion. One of the guys will be cut, and if one of them does like a poor performance and even edges out a split win, there could be an argument that they can be cut from the UFC as well. But if you look at overall physical attributes and talents, in terms of physicality, 80 Wineland is a little bit bigger, right? 5'7" to 5'6", with a significant reach advantage here, 69 to 64.5. The age scares me because he's already pushing 38 at bantamweight. If you look at the last 2 losses for 80 Wineland, he got cracked out by Sean O'Malley, completely flat, dead right cross. And his last fight, absolutely the same thing. John Castaneda, KO, flatline, he was gone. So that worries me because even though Cody Stamann is not known for that knockout super ability, but it's there, right? It's MMA. You hit a guy hard enough and he cracks, especially with a broken glass chin, as 80 Wineland already, because I think it's very, very, well, is it? Yeah, it's broken. I'm going to call it a broken glass chin at this point. It is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So the pick is Cody Stamann. The problem with Cody Stamann is at this particular moment in time, he is absolutely stupid expensive. So unless you are able to grab this like right off the rip in the minus 200s, 300s, and you already parlayed the living shit out of it, there is no point of playing unless you're going to be brave and go for the prop or method of victory. So if you see a decision for Cody Stamann, that's what you play. If you see a knockout, that's what you play. If you see an over, that's what you play. There's no other way of playing this, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna pass this fight. The pick is Cody Stamann. I'm not gonna be playing them. I'm not gonna be playing Cody Stamann because I just don't like the price. The only person at this particular price that you would want to take would be Valentina Shevchenko or Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, right? Those guys you probably feel comfortable playing at such juice because they're coming for you no matter what. So it is what it is. I'm going to take Cody Stamann. I'm going to pass the play, so we don't even need to look at the data. I could if you want to, but stylistically, the wrestling and, the youth is on Cody Stamann. That's pretty much it. We want to reserve all the data points for our play so we can feel more confident with it. But yeah, the pick is Cody Stamann, younger guy. You know what I'm saying? He is losing, but he's losing to Jimmy Rivera decision. He's losing to Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, decision. He's losing to Said Nurmagomedov. It's a Nurmagomedov. So it is what it is. He got choked out. So yeah. He's literally losing to a really, really high level fighter, especially in the last 2 fights. So yeah, we're gonna say the pick is Cody Stamann unless you're really confident with it or you have a prop that you're sold on. You want to go. Personally, it might go closer to the decision, maybe over 1.5. But again, 80 Wineland's chin is very fragile at this point. So that's why I'm not even comfortable playing the over. It's just my personal opinion. Let's move on to the next fight, guys. Alrighty, we got Gloria De Paula taking on Maria Oliveira here. Women's MMA, 2 girls that I'm not particularly familiar with. You already know the formula at this point. Women's MMA, you don't have enough data, you don't play. From now on, we're going to be very, very straight to the point. We're going to save all the BS and nonsense. You want a full card breakdown? I mean, an absolute full card, detailed, technicality. I'm going to have you go somewhere else. I really, as far as I'm capable of doing it, and I have done it in the past, you can watch my previous videos, I've come to the realization you can sit here for an hour and a half. Not that it's wrong, right? That could be your hobby. But if your sole purpose is to get the best picks, then this is it. If your sole purpose is to be really, entertained with the whole technicality, go right ahead. There are other channels who are much better than that. I'm going to reserve my time and respect your time and give you straight up, no nonsense, what I think, how I play, so you guys are on the same page. You know what I'm saying? No more nonsense. My time is very limited here. So the Spider Girl, right? But, more experience. The age probably the same, 25, 27, same shit. Physicality, pretty much the same. You ask me personally, because of the limited data, I'm kind of leaning Maria Oliveira, but I'm not even confident to say it's a pick. I'm going to skip this fight entirely. I apologize if you were looking for the date on this, but there are other spots in this card and next card and the card after that and the card after that, right? We have beautiful fights coming up. So I'm going to reserve my time and I'm going to respect yours and I'm going to respectfully skip this fight because I'm not going to be playing it and neither should you. All right. Now, fight. Danny Chavez versus Ricardo Ramos. This one, the pick is Ricardo Ramos. Am I confident with this pick? Absolutely not. Am I confident with the price tag for me to even consider a minus 300 parlay? Absolutely not. Should he be coming through? Yes. Does the 35-year-old Colombian warrior Danny Chavez have the underdog chance? Yes. He is at MMA Masters. He is putting in work. I know Team Alpha Male for Ricardo Ramos, he's putting in work. He is the younger guy. We have about a decade of separation. We have a significant 5-inch reach advantage for Ricardo Ramos. Let's look at some data points here. Alrighty. So we got significant strikes landed per minute. There's a little bit of advantage. Excuse me. A little bit of an advantage to Ricardo Ramos, so we can give him an arrow, right? He deserves an arrow on this side. Significant accuracy, dead even, so it is what it is. Takedown, slight favorite, 2.61 to 2. I'm going to say they're pretty much even. Accuracy of those takedowns, 58 to 60, pretty much even. And submission, less than even 1, right? So we're going to say the only real advantage here is Ricardo's volume, right? And again, the reach advantage is going to amplify this, right? Because now it becomes more significant because if his volume is a little better, then perhaps his reach is going to play advantage. And 5 inches, which is a foot, almost a fist, depending on how big you are, that's pretty much where you're looking at. So, yeah, Ricardo Ramos is the pick. Unless you're absolutely confident, right? And you're saying, I really like Ricardo Ramos. I'm going to play Ricardo Ramos. Well, he's minus 300. You have to make the ultimate decision. I've made a decision of not playing him personally, but I think it's going to be a good fight. And I'm picking Ricardo Ramos, but I'm telling you right now, I really have no financial investment in this fight. So for that reason, that's just, it is what it is, right? So let's go on to the next fight. Okay, we got Jeremiah Wells taking on Court McGee here. Good fight, interesting fight. I'm actually very invested in this fight, not financially, disclosure. However, as an MMA fan, I am interested because I do want to see if there's some fight left in Court McGee, the Crusher, or if Jeremiah Wells is going to continue his winning streak. He's currently on a 4-fight winning streak. He has, been looking kind of solid. You know what I'm saying? He finished Blood Diamond, but I don't really think highly of Blood Diamond. And Worley Alves, he knocked him out, right? So that's a good win in my book. So just a bit younger. He's not a young dude, but he's in phenomenal shape. Jeremiah Wells. So, yeah, Jeremiah Wells, 35 years old, to 37 and a half for Cord McGee. Let's see, physicality. Cord McGee is the slightly taller guy here, and the reach is pretty much the same. It depends how this fight is going to go, right? So if we have Cord McGee digging back to his grit and grind, he can get it done. But if we're going to look at Jeremiah Wells and say, well, you know what, this dude, he can wrestle. He comes in with a lot of grit, and he might be the person with more durability because he hasn't been as, to so many wars, 31 fights for Cord McGee. So that's like a gift and a curse. So yes, he's been around the block, but the fights have been, he is putting up good fights, right? So a split loss to Diego Lima. He went all the way with Sean Brady. He went all the way with Carlos Condit. He has a Claudio Silva win, and he has a Ramiz Brahimaj win. That's actually a really good win for him. So it depends. It depends what kind of Cord McGee shows up tomorrow, and that's why, because of that uncertainty, because I do believe that the experience factor is crucial here. So let's look at some data points from the fight analytics, and then we'll basically say our final thoughts. Alrighty, so what do we got? We got Cord McGee here. Significant strikes landed per minute. Here's that, significant number, in my opinion. You ask me what's significant? That's significant. So let's get an arrow for Cord McGee. Significant accuracy is going to go to Jeremiah Wells. So that's something to consider. Volume versus accuracy. So you can throw a lot, but maybe you're not connecting enough. I like accuracy because that's how the judges are going to score this fight. So I'm going to go over there. In terms of takedown, slight advantage to Cord McGee, but not enough for me to even give him an arrow over there. In terms of takedown accuracy, I will have to give it to Cord McGee because that's obviously significant, 25.19 to 12.5. So I got to give him that. In terms of submission, I'm going to put a little arrow for Jeremiah Wells, but he would have to really find that submission. He would really have to physically impose his will from the top and start, raining heavy elbows, punches, what have you, to really get that, maybe, scare Cord McGee enough to give up the back, sink that rear naked choke, or maybe even find a guillotine if necessary. But yeah, that's pretty much the data analytics for that fight. Let's go back to topology and just finish that. So we're gonna go with a lot of love for Cord McGee. I'm gonna ride the train. I'm gonna ride the winning streak. I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Wells. I liked what I've seen in the last two fights, particularly his durability, his grit. I think his IQ checked out as well. So I'm really okay with that. So I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Wells, but I would not be surprised if Cord McGee, shits that. The line is good enough for a straight bet. So in this side, I wouldn't consider either of those guys in a parlay because it's a literally 50-50 in my opinion, right? And as the price reflected. So in a 50-50 like that, unless you're like super, super awesome on one side, you're not going to play it in a parlay. You just won't. That's why one of the rules in a close fight like that, it's either a straight play or pass. In my particular point, I decided not to take a stab on Jeremiah Wells because I'm just not confident enough to go for a straight play. But if you're going for a play, the money line is just good enough for a straight play. My humble opinion here. And unless you're super, super awesome on either one of these guys, you're not going to put them in a parlay. At least that's how I'm seeing this fight. But it should play out, very technical unless one of these guys decides to just bang it out, right? But then someone's probably going to get knocked out, in my opinion. But either way, history tells us it should be going either at least over 2.5. If I was going to play this, I don't have the access to the line because unfortunately I'm in New York. They don't have it. I'm interested to see what fight starts round 2 is. Fight starts round 2 is probably what would be content of even remotely trying to parlay. But that's pretty much it on this fight. We can go forward. It's crazy. It's 25 minutes in, and we're only halfway in. So my goal of reaching 30 minutes, unless I'm going probably not going to happen. So bear with me. But I'm trying. I'm definitely going to be under that 1 hour mark. So we got Jasmine Jasudavicius from Canada taking on Natalia Silva. So a couple of things. The pick is Jasmine. The play is Jasmine. I'm going to put her in that moderate. I wouldn't put her to moderate to heavy. I'm probably going to put her in that moderate confident pick. So she would be a parlay piece for sure. In fact, she is a parlay piece, and I have already played her. Excuse me. With that being said, I'm going to go a little bit detailed here. So she is the older fighter here. That's actually a good thing. She's not terribly old. She's not 35 plus. She's 33. To me, that's peaking. Her confidence is it's addicting, right? I like her confidence. Like, she really is very confident, very laid back. So I like that. 5'7", got the physicality. Again, she will be the bigger girl here. 5'7" to 5'4". 68. I don't have Natalia Silva reach here, but I'm assuming it have to be, unless ESPN has it. Let me just hover over for a second. Yeah, ESPN has no data on this girl. She's a debuting fighter. So let's go back. Couple of things. I really liked what I saw from Jasmine in her fight against Kay Hansen. She showed that she can earn points in a clinch situation against the cage. That's good. The judges love it. Referees won't, do anything about it. So that's good. So even if Natalia Silva, pushes Jasmine against the cage, she's going to get punched from Jasmine. In terms of physical takedown, we saw Jasmine is capable of that. So she definitely can take you down and give some control. Yeah, those are all good data points. 3 winning streak. Her last loss, it was a split to LC Reed. Go figure. It is what it is. So in her last 5 outings, she is doing good work. I like it. What about Natalia Silva? Well, there's a couple of things to like. One, she's very young, so she's only going to get better, right? She's on a 6-fight winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she is. Obviously, it's outside the UFC, and it's like in Brazil. The level of competition is very kind of questionable, very low. Her last loss, I don't want to say her last. Something to consider. Her last loss is in 2007, at the end of 2017, right? So we can actually call it to 2018 because it's easier to count. So that'll be about 4 years ago. So Marina Rodriguez, who we know, but Marina Rodriguez was a 30-year-old woman, and this young lady was a kid. She was like 21 years of age, and she was already fighting Marina Rodriguez. That speaks volume to me. She definitely got beat up. She was bleeding. She took some knees to the face, but she was in the fight. She never quit. That's a good thing. The chick is tough. She got good submission game going. Arm bar, arm lock, arm bar. So we see that, right? Out of her 12 wins, 7 submissions. Submission threat will be there for her. Interesting fact, she's from Team Baracha. I think that's the same gym that Paulo Costa is. Take it how you want to take it. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't really think much highly of Paulo Costa anymore. I used to be high in this guy, but then he got exposed. So, yeah. And even though I was favoring Israel Adesanya, I was still kind of seeing there. But then after his last performance and his shenanigans, I no longer. That's done. So I look forward to fading Paulo Costa any chance I get. So yeah. So there are things to like about this girl. Natalia Silva, at first, I gave her complete disrespect here. But there's some things you got to consider. It's a debut. She's still young. She has inactivity because her last fight was in 2019. Perhaps this was like, her fight, and then pandemic hit because Brazil got hit really hard with the pandemic. It's not that easy to find a fight. So why she's coming off all of a sudden in UFC, I don't know. I don't know if Paul Costa had some politicking going on. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know why she's debuting here, especially with so much inactivity. It is what it is, right? Sometimes you just need to find a fighter that's willing to fight, and she's willing to fight. So she's young. She's definitely not afraid. I gotta give her that. She got the fight experience, right? She's 12-5, but you really have no data. There's a couple of fights to watch on her, and they're okay. They're not like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they're there. That submission in her last fight, that she was able to get the armbar against Mara, that was okay. It was clean. Once she found it, she twisted really fast. She went into the position. It looked like she knew she was doing it, and she really had that armbar very, very deep. That's what I'm saying. She could get it against Jasmine. I'm not saying Jasmine is invincible, but Jasmine just showed me enough to consider her as a favorite here. That's why the bookies have priced it, and I believe this is a good price. Anything more would be no way Jose, but at minus 240, 250, she should be around 250 right now. Let me double check. She is currently minus 250, like I said. So so she's around 250-ish, depending on the book you're shopping at. So physicality, activity, especially recent activity, that was great to see. And Kay Hansen is not she's not a walk in the park. So I'm just gonna go out there. Yes, she's still very young, but she's learning, and she's tough as shit. So Jasmine should win. She has the tools. Will she win? That's to be determined tomorrow. But I have played Jasmine as a moderate play, so she is in a play. Okay, that's it. That's all you guys have to know. But there's always fight in this dog. I'm not fully convinced because it's a debuting fight, and it's a tough outing for her. I'm not saying Jasmine is up there, but physically and just stylistically, she should be winning this fight unless she gets subbed, right? Because that's always there. So that's something to remember. All right, let's look at the next fight. Okay, Adrian Yanez taking on Tony Kelly. Now, the price for Adrian Yanez at the current market is minus 275. And Tony Kelly is plus 225, okay? Tony Kelly was the only person to miss weight today. I think that's the right weight, 137.5. He came in, so 50% of the purse is going to go to Adrian Yanez. So you kind of have to, as a fighter, for missing a fight, weight, you kind of have to go out there, balls to the wall, and deliver. However, Adrian Yanez is everybody's sweetheart right now. He may not have he does have the knockout potential, but he's usually good at it when he's the bully and he's the one who's going to come in with some pressure. Don't be surprised with Tony Kelly coming in with some pressure now because of missing weight, and now he has more to prove, right? And Tony Kelly is 35 years old, so he doesn't have any spare time. He's literally there, right? So it's now or never. Now, I have played Adrian Yanez. I'm actually just pulling up the line that I played Adrian Yanez. Yanez was minus 350, and the price goes down after I play him to what, 270 I said. Couple of reasons to think that. One, physicality, got to give it to Tony Kelly. And then you say, you know what? Tony Kelly didn't want to cut so much weight because he just wants to come out there and deliver. I don't know how you're going to see it, but The volume on Adrian Yanez, and we're gonna have to look at some data points. Let's look at some data points here. Give me a second. All right, 6.35 to 5.58. I think that's significant. I'm gonna give the arrow to Yanez. Okay. The accuracy, the accuracy is massive to Tony Kelly. That's something to consider. That knockout but could happen. And then the rest we don't gotta worry. And I'm gonna give an arrow to the submission. So the submission is going to Tony Kelly. But I'm not particularly too worried about that. I believe it's gonna be a standing affair here. So let's go back to topology really quick. Alrighty, so Adrian Yanez, right? So let me see. I think this is where he shows up. Let me see. Yeah. So we get him from Contender Series, knocks him out. He shows up against Victor Rodriguez, and everybody's saying knockout. I say knockout happens. He then fights Gustavo Lopez, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Gustavo, you're getting knocked out, and it does. He fights Randy Costa, and I'm like, man, do we do a knockout again? I was scared, but there he goes. He knocks him out. He finally goes a split against Davy Grant, but that's Davy Grant, a very much seasoned vet at this point. We already know the deal on Davy Grant. And yeah, so he gets a split win. In my opinion, from what I see, when you compare Tony Kelly's last couple of performances, Ali Al-Casey, and the common denominator Randy Costa knockout, you could argue Randy Costa's chin is just broken. And has been always suspect, and now it's exposed in UFC. I really gonna favor Adrian Yanez. Now I'm not gonna put too much stock for this losing weight, but I mean the weight miss. But I'm gonna see it as an advantage to Tony Kelly. He just didn't want to cut anymore because then he would compromise, and he didn't want to compromise himself. He is losing 50% of the purse, which sucks. But now he has to go out there and really perform, and perhaps look for a stupendous knockout to get like a bonus. I'm gonna still favor Adrian Yanez, and in fact, I'm gonna redo a parlay, and I'm gonna replay Adrian Yanez at -275 because I just like the guy. I really like this guy. His volume is good. His boxing is crisp, and he looks good. He's really good. 28 years old. Everything checks. I hope he's not going to be the apple pie shitter, the absolute just stink, the stuff that's going to just absolutely just mess up the whole night. I'm really hoping that's not the case. But I like it. I like the price. I like the fact that he's cheaper now. I'm going with Adrian Yanez. Pick and play. Okay, let's move on to the next fight. All right, guys, we're in the main card now. Julian Marquez taking on Gregory Rodriguez. We got the Cuban Missile Crisis taking on the RoboCop. How about those names? RoboCop is coming off a real men's fight against Armen Petrosyan. Controversial a bit, you could argue, for both sides. I was invested in RoboCop, so I'm still salty about the loss. But boy, oh boy, was that a great fight. That was just absolutely stupendous fight. Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis, ever since he came back, Maki Pitolo finish and Sam Alvey finish submission. You could argue an underperformance against Sam Alvey, but guys, it's Sam Alvey. This guy is a dog. Win or lose, he always shows up. Win or lose, gets knocked out or not, Sam Alvey shows the F up, okay? So go easy in this win. He looked good on the scale. I liked it. RoboCop is RoboCop on the scale. How is Gregory Rodriguez 30 years old? This guy looks 40 in my opinion. I don't understand it. He looks really freaking old for his age. But it is what it is. The life of a fighter. I'm going to pick the Cuban Missile Crisis here. I believe the momentum is still with Julian Marquez. I believe the urgency is on Gregory Rodriguez, though. He wants to get it back. But above all, I'm predicting a good fight. I think this is a good fight, guys. I really love this fight. And as much as I want to play Julian Marquez, and I'm probably going to end up playing, I haven't played him yet. I am most likely going to be playing Julian Marquez in a parlay because I don't have the balls for a straight play at the moment. I'm going to play Julian Marquez here. But, yo, I am not disrespecting Gregory Rodriguez by any means. It's a good fight. 4-inch reach advantage for Gregory Rodriguez. Yeah, let's look at some data points because this fight requires it. All right. Significant strikes landed per minute. Let's give it to RoboCop. This man will slang. He has, in the wrong section, right here. Let's give that significant strikes landed per minute. 5.28 favoring Rodriguez. Accuracy, this boy slangs and he means it. 54, 52 to 49. Close, but Gregory gets the thing. Takedown average. You got to give it to Gregory Rodriguez. But I'm telling you, Julian Marquez, he can handle his own. But yeah, I do see a scenario where Gregory Rodriguez does it. Takedown accuracy 58. So yeah, but the submission here. The submission here is gonna go to Julian Marquez. So go figure. Take it how you guys want. So then you're gonna say, yo, you got the reach advantage, you got the youth advantage, you got all this mambo jumbo. Why are you going against RoboCop? There's a theory that I usually follow that, when it rains, it pours. And, RoboCop looked unbeatable up until Petrosian. And sometimes, those effects linger. I don't want to judge Gregory Rodriguez per se. But like I said, I believe the momentum of positivity, take it how you guys want. I'm crazy, okay? Is still with Julian Marquez, and I really liked his shape. He actually worked really hard for it, and he's an interesting character. So, and his name is absolutely badass, the Cuban Missile Crisis. So take it, guys, how you want. I'm gonna go with the Cuban Missile Crisis here, plus money, a stab in a parlay. But Gregory Rodriguez has my utmost respect, and in fact, one of my biggest plays for this year was Gregory Rodriguez by knockout. By knockout, I called it against Jun Young Park. I said he's going to crack that total, and he did. So I feel like I'm jumping the ship too early. So this is why I haven't played it yet. I'm going to reserve until the fight. As the guys are coming out, if I still feel good about the Cuban Missile Crisis, I'm going to pull the trigger. Or I'm just going to wait for the opportunity, maybe during the fight or even after the first round, gauge the fight and maybe make a call there. So I'm going to say approach it, guys, cautiously because I can understand why Gregory Rodriguez is a favorite here. I laid it out. The arrows are pointing toward Gregory Rodriguez, but his durability is stupendous, right? And ever since Julian came back, we haven't seen, because I don't think he has been tested. This is a very tough test for Julian Marquez, pardon me. So, yeah, close fight. I think it's a great fight. I'm actually very, very excited for this fight. So, that's all I had to say about this. 43 minutes, and I promised you guys 30 minutes. But once I start talking, I just can't stop. So, move on to the next fight. Let's go. Alrighty, guys. We got Demir Ismagulov taking on Guram Kuraladetsi. Damn, I don't know how to pronounce this. Let's just call him Guram. I'm not going to butcher his name. You see the greens on both sides. You're like, sheesh. This is a great fight. Stylistically, MMA fan-wise, betting-wise, it doesn't matter how you look at it. This is a very good fight, but you want to look at technicality. You're looking at it. This is going to be a very technical fight, unless Guram, most likely Guram, goes and just violates Demir, which I really don't see it here. There's a split among the betting community here, at least from what I've gathered. Some people absolutely love Guram. Some people love the fact that he trains with Khamzat Chimaev. And yes, you can put a lot of stock at who he trains with or who someone trains with. But at the end of the day, Khamzat Chimaev is a whole different beast, fights at a completely different level. And his and he is his own man. It doesn't mean it's not gonna rub off on Guram here, training in Sweden with the likes of Khamzat Chimaev and all the other dudes here, Gustafsson and all the other badasses. But and he's Georgian. He was one of those initial waves that came in, took the the undefeated. What's his name? What's it? Gamrad, I think his name is. Yeah, Gamrad. Mateusz Gamrad. So wins a split. It was a very close fight, but he did enough. Is it gonna be like this? Perhaps, because man, Demir Ismagulov, 23-1. He's been in the UFC for 4 fights now. Alex Georges, 7-0 guy. He fought Joel Alvarez. I'm high on Joel Alvarez. You guys already know the deal. Thiago Moises and Rafael Alves. And he's not ranked yet. So that's crazy. And now he understands that, I'm 31 years old. If I'm going to make anything, if I'm going to put Kazakhstan, and we're sleeping on this country, by the way. There's a big wave of Kazakhstani fighters. Shavkat is here. This guy, Demir, Maria Agapova, I believe, is from Kazakhstan, but she's like still young. She's still learning, and it's a women's MMA. Got to give her a little pass, but it is what it is. So yeah, the Kazakhstan is coming out with some killers, and so yeah, I'm gonna be with Demir here, just because I just respect his technicality. And I'm not disrespecting. I'm really not. Honestly, to me, when you look at a fight and you're like, which one is like the closest? This is perhaps one of the closest fights, in my opinion, because you're gonna look at a very technical fight, unless someone gets finished. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Demir. I'm gonna play Demir. I have played Demir. I believe I played him at -170. The price kind of like remained around there, because there is some love, like I said. So Guram is keeping that minus in check. He's getting that plus money. Good luck to both guys. Good luck to anyone betting this guys. I'm personally gonna side with Demir, because I liked his interview, his media day. He really said some good words here. Not that Guram didn't, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, the only way for me to crack the top 15 if I'm gonna continue winning. And yes, winning in a very exciting fashion obviously propels you. But winning is the name of the game. And 23-1 is good. The experience factor is there. And I'm gonna favor Demir Ismagulov Kazakh, because he's from Kazakhstan. So let's go and say it the right way. Kazakhstan. So Kazakh is the pick. Kazakh is the play. We could just for really, really quick, let's jump onto ESPN. There it is. So significant strikes landed per minute. We're going to give 3.75. So don't think this is just going to be, an all-out wrestling. Demir can bang. He can crack. He can out-volume you. Significant. As you can see, he means business when he throws those hands. 54.58 to 46.24. Takedown average, we got to give it to him, and he might be shooting more here. And the accuracy, 36, about average of fighters in his at his level. So all the arrows are actually pointing Demir. His record, 23-1, speaks to me. His interview was great. I'm gonna go with Demir here. Am I gonna be fully sad if I lose? No, because I think Guram is a badass. I really think the Georgian Viking, which is a crazy badass name, Guram the Georgian Viking, with 12-2 respectful record. Both guys at the prime of their physicality, 30 years, 31 to 30, so pretty much the same. Slight reach advantage to Demir, but great fight. I think I've made my point here, guys. You guys make the ultimate decision. Good luck to everybody, and I look forward to this fight. This is a badass fight, guys. All right. We're getting up there. Joaquin Buckley taking Albert Duraev. I think that's how you properly say it. It's not Duraev. It's Duraev. I'm pretty sure. Buckley's coming here with plus 195. He actually became a much more juicier dog than previous. I think he was like around plus, I want to say 175 to 185. Let me just quickly reference that. Just give me a second. I'm going to log in right now. So I originally grabbed him at plus 165. I wish I waited. But you don't know how these lines are going to go. But yeah, he actually became a better juicing dog here. Enough of a juice that I actually want to take a straight bet on Joaquin Buckley. And let me explain. So Joaquin Buckley, the new Mensa... Oh, guys. Hold on. So sorry, guys. Sometimes I get phone calls when I'm least expecting it. And I didn't put my... Actually, I did put my phone on silent, but my FaceTime on my computer went off. So anyway, I got to adjust that. All right. Joaquin Buckley to Albert. I was talking about Joaquin Buckley became a better favorite. That's where I was. Okay. Albert Duraev, right, is not minus 240. Hell no. Watch the last fight. I did. His last fight against... Now, his contender series, minus 240. His fight against Roman Kopylov, not minus 240. In fact, let me look at the favoritism that he got going to that Roman Kopylov. Because when he finished that fight, boy, did he not look like minus 240. His eye, his orbital was most likely compromised, broken. His face was touched up. You know what I'm saying? He got taken down by Roman Kopylov in obviously the third round. Granted, of course. But man, he was getting manhandled in the third round. Like, it was definitely Roman Kopylov's round, and obviously was maybe too late, a little too late. But yo, he was minus 380 coming into this shit. I'm telling you. In the first round was kind of second round, yeah, he obliterated Roman. He busted his nose. He definitely put damage on him. But my level for respect of Roman Kopylov is actually high after this fight because he was so durable. And yeah, so but definitely this dude Duraev did not look like a minus 380. This is why his stock is obviously a little low, right? Oh, let's go back here. Sorry. It's a little low, and because, you know, it lowered minus 240 because, yo, there's some things about Duraev that I don't like. One, he's not a prospect by any means of imagination. Homeboy is 33 years old, and so he's not a prospect. He's already a seasoned fighter, right? Experienced. Definitely not fighting bums. He's out there fighting. Like, he's actually fighting. So I got to give him the respect that he rightfully deserves. Got to give it to him. But there's a couple of things. Round one, Anatoly Tokov. He gets cracked out. Yes, it was a long time ago. It's 2014. Yes, I will take that. But you know what I won't take? Ramzan Emif, another 10 years ago. Yes, a long time ago. He got cracked out, and he lost due to a knee. So 3 losses on his record, and they were all finishes. Well, you know what? Who is not a stranger to finish? Is Joaquin Buckley. And yes, he went to the war. He was in an absolute war with Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and he got a split decision win, and I think that was the right call. He showed a lot of growth in that fight. You know, mentally, I think he's still a little bit young, 28 years old. I remember myself. I'm still, you know, like youngish and foolish. I think he's still like, he's at the turning point, you know, as becoming much more aware, full-grown, you know, serious mode. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's not a joke, but he got a light character about him, and I like that. So, you know, he showed a lot of good things. You know, he was going for the takedown with Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He showed me that he understands that when he's in trouble, he got to, you know, level change, do things differently. So he showed me good stuff here. Although he got taken down by Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Let's just call him Abdul. Got taken down by Abdul Razak. Let's do Abdul Razak. In the last round, and he kept him there for a very, very long time. So not necessarily too much damage. but definitely took some gas out of Buckley, and that's what I'm worried of above all things. If Duriev takes you down and he puts in, and he does put in work, but those are slappy range shots that I observed from Duriev against Roman Kopylov. You know what I'm saying? But he will put some damage, and I don't know how Joaquin Buckley is gonna react. Now, in terms of fighting, I'm telling you, his hands is legitimate. He can knock out like Antonio Arroyo. He knocked him out. He got cracked out himself by Alexio Di Chirico. Okay. But man, he talk about irony, right? He had a spectacular ninja kick, because that's exactly what I'm going to call it, a spinning ninja kick, knockout of the year. And then he gets head kicked himself literally right after. So talk about irony. But what I really like about this guy, he knocked out Impa, he knocked out Jordan Wright. Knockout potential is there. He's a physical specimen. Check him at the weigh-ins today. He's in incredible shape. I'm not saying Albert is not in great shape, but you talk about physicality, guys. Bro, Joaquin Buckley looks great. So, his mental IQ is probably what I'm afraid of in this fight. But I'm not 100% sold on Duriev, And I'm being honest. I played that minus 380, not a straight bet. It was a parlay. But believe it or not, at the end of the fight, I was like, did he win? Because he definitely, because Roman was in his fight. I mean, he got the win. But guys, I'm telling you right now, I'm not completely sold. I'm not going to put a lot of stock on Duriev. And I'm telling you, I'm playing Buckley here. Did I parlay in one of my long parlays with Duriev? Yeah, I did, just in case, right? You guys know me. I like just in case type of shit. But I see a lot of value for Joaquin Buckley. He's been growing. He's been training harder. His activity is stupendous, and his performances are not bad. He also lost to Kevin Holland. But, still, that was a short notice fight, and Kevin Holland's range is ridiculous. And, Joaquin Buckley decided to stand with Kevin Holland, and it's not a good idea. I believe blow for blow, a lot of people will get knocked out by Kevin. I actually very, very high on Kevin Holland, who we will talk about in just a minute or two. But, yeah, Joaquin Buckley, tremendous value, plus 190, man. I'm going to go, and I'm actually tempted to put 2 units on Joaquin Buckley, maybe even more. That's how I feel. That's just literally how I absolutely feel about this. Let's go to the next fight. Tim Means, Kevin Holland, because time is really pressing. Tim Means, Kevin Holland. I'm not going to waste your time here. Argument could be made for both sides. Kevin Holland is the pick. He looks absolutely phenomenal at 170. He goes from big mouth, what they call him, the human superhero, something like that. Man, he's funny as shit. I like Kevin Holland, and those 2 L's, they look very bad, but he was trying to do shit, but he's just not a wrestler. And remember, he was always coming in kind of like under 185. He was coming in 180, 182. So in my opinion, he should have never fought at 185. You know what I mean? I really like him at 170. I really like him to do a lot of work. Obviously, the wrestling, once you get high progressively with welterweights, there are stupid wrestlers there. So he's going to have to continuously work on that. But, he got Travers Luter, BJJ over here, so he is putting in work. He does understand ground game, and he's never a fish out of the water. He even from guard, he can be dangerous. You guys saw what he did to Jacare Sosa, and yes, it's the aging veteran, but to knock out somebody from a seated back position, it's hard. That's a lot of power now, and I absolutely believe it will translate still here. Tim Means might get knocked the F out, so he's going to really have to close the gap on this one, because 6 reach advantage for this long and rangy trailblazer, Kevin Holland. That's the pick. That's the play. Lock that in. Let's go. I'm on the trailblazer side. I could see Tim Means outworking him, but I'm going to say this is a different version of Kevin Holland, and welterweight division is where he should have been from the get-go. But yeah, so Kevin Holland is the pick. I'm not even going to go on the data points here, because I just, the age factor is there. the power is there because I really respect this power. And I'm telling you, if Tim Means does not close the gap and he gives the opportunity for Kevin Holland, I think the first round is probably going to go to Tim Means. But man, once Kevin finds that range, it's a wrap. That's it. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. Co-main event. So couple of things, guys. Let me see. Let's start with a round of applause. For Donald Cerrone. Let's give a round of applause for Joe Lozon. So, why did I do that? I mean, just look at these records. 36-16, 28-15. You're talking about fighters that have been in the UFC since like the early 2000s. Just for shits and giggles. Just for shits and giggles. Let's go. Oh, this is the vintage cowboy that we know. He was always in great shape. Let's go here. UFC 126. Paul Kelly was his first win in the UFC. He dates back to the WEC. You know what I'm saying? So we know him. If you look at the WEC before UFC acquired it, you're talking about 2008, guys. You're talking about 2007. I mean, look at oh my God, another round of, I mean, this is just nostalgia. When you think about the years, you're talking about my high school years. No, actually my first year or second year of college years. Wow, goosebumps. Just, I mean, it's a whole different life ago. It's just incredible. And look at all these fighters that he's been through, all these wars that he's been. Notable fights, notable losses. You know what I mean? He has records for wins in the UFC or whatever. I mean, he got some accolades going. He fought with the who's who and everybody. He beat Charles Oliveira. He beat, Dennis Silver, lost to Nate Diaz, beat Jeremy Stevens, Melvin Gillard. You know what I mean? He's been there with RDA. Like, look at these names. He even beat Edson Barbosa, Jim Miller, Eddie Alvarez. Look at this winning streak, guys, that he did. Miles Jury, Benson Henderson, John McDessie. It's a big-ass names, guys. Alex Oliveira, obviously this is like, the lower end now he's fighting. The Matt Brown fight was amazing. He's been there with Jorge Masvidal, although he got knocked out. Robbie Lawler, Darren Till fights. I mean, there's just history of fighting. I mean, the guy is a fighter. That's why we had to acknowledge that. OG in the game, absolutely OG. And his dancing partner, man, he is absolutely no slouch, guys. Just bear with me. This internet shit is slow. But let's look at Joe Lozon, man. The guy is a fighter. He starts the fight with massive pressure. Like to see that. And look at this guy. I mean, you look at his first fight in 2006, man. It's September. That's when I started college. Wow. That is just crazy. 2006, so long ago. I mean, that's just goosebumps. It just brings us so many memories of this guy. The wars that he has been to. The fights that I think he's like second in terms of wins and fights and whatever. So you got the OGs of the OGs, man. They're not the best. They've obviously L's on both sides, but they've been in the game for a minute here. And his last win, very, very good. Round 1, Jonathan Pierce knockout, right? And Jonathan Pierce is really not a big slouch. But man, it's hard to say, but this could be a retirement fight. That's why I have to give it a clap. And I love me some Cowboy, but I believe from the damages that he's been going through, especially the last 5 fights, KO Justin Gaethje, KO by McGregor, finished by Pettis, and that was a tough fight, by the way. And I took Pettis in that fight. Nico Price, that was a great fight, actually. Actually, he looked good in the Nico Price fight. So a lot of people are expecting that Cowboy to show up. However, look what happened right after. Alex Morono just pummeled the living crap out of him, bum rushed him, and finished him. Stand-in TKO just put him out, just took him out of that fight. So if Joe Lozon, reads that blueprint and he just runs up on a Cowboy and just tees the hell off, it's gonna be crazy. And this is a 155 lightweight fight. This is a previously scheduled fight. Donald Cerrone was already cutting weight. He's 30 years old. He cut the weight twice. I'm not saying Joe Lozon didn't cut twice, but it's just I think the more severe damage is on Cowboy side versus Joe Lozon, in my opinion. But Joe Lozon here, loses by majority. Got KO'd by Clay Guida, and got KO'd by Chris Grutzmacher. So yeah, I mean, just out of respect, we had to give him a clap. With that being said, from the monetary standpoint, I will not be betting this fight for two reasons. One, because of my utmost respect for the two dudes, and I just want to see a good fight. And I really want to see Donald Cerrone retire while he's alive so he can enjoy his range and maybe continue go filming and making movies and shit. But yeah, I think either he's gone, he retires, especially after a loss, or I hope he retires. He's gonna be, you know what, I won, I'm leaving with a win, guys, I'm out. So, but for his sake, I think he needs to retire, in my opinion. So I don't want to call people to retire, but I think it's time, and just for his sake, actually, out of just concern from my side. So yeah, great fight. I'm looking for. I'm not gonna be betting this fight. If I had to bet this fight, I'm probably gonna go with just the fight. How the fight will end in TKO, because I think they're both guys are gonna give it all. But it could be a bloody fight. They could go to distance, so you don't know. I'm gonna bank on on how fragile I think Donald Cerrone is at this point, and how fragile Joe Lozon, and I hope someone gets a finish. So that's probably the bet that I would have made. But again, out of just sheer respect for the two guys and everything in my heart, I'm just gonna probably say fight ends in a TKO, not choosing a side. But yeah, not really rooting for anyone. Just let the best man win. Let's just finish this card. I went over an hour. I apologize. But this is a long card. 14 cards are not easy to really break down and just present the information to you guys. Okay, this is a good main event. It's not great, but it's good. It's a solid. It's as close as you're gonna get to before touching great. That's just literally one level below. So very good, actually. Let's give it a very good main event. Spectacular bounce back for Calvin Kattar, getting his head just beat down by Max Holloway. He set a record on him. And then what did he do? He bounced back and absolutely obliterated and took the train off its rails of Giga Chikadze, who people thought was probably the next thing, and he was supposed to bring the Giga time. Well, Giga time expired. Again, he could have a bounce back, but he got his ass kicked by Calvin Kattar. And again, he came in, showed that Boston toughness, the Boston finisher, although he doesn't always finish the fight. But his dancing partner, man, and even though 37 is scary, but the damage, besides the knee surgery from Josh Emmett, you're gonna get a very well-crafted machine, Josh Emmett. I mean, hashtag freaking goals. I want to look like Josh Emmett at 37 years of age, and he's my height, also 5'6". He just looks ripped, crazy abdominal section, crazy back muscles. I mean, he's just in really good shape. Got great wrestling, has great power, knocks people down, doesn't necessarily finish them, but definitely grinds it, like unanimous wins. Then Ige fight was good. Shane Burgos fight knocked out Buktik, knocked out Johnson as well. So packs power, guys. He knocks people down. He knocks out people. Same thing with Calvin Kattar. Excuse me. Clean, pristine boxing, volume, aggressiveness, toughness. I mean, this fight is just a good main event. I'm actually happy. I'm going to give a round of applause to UFC for putting this main event on a fight card. I think this is a good fight. This is a really good fight. And it's a pivotal fight at featherweight at the 145 because any one of those guys can push it for that title, especially if Josh Emmett wins. I mean, look, he's going to be on a 5 winning streak. He can start calling out names and getting closer there. Same thing for Calvin Kattar, man. He gets this win, 2 wins back to back. He could possibly call for a title eliminator. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but he can do it. So it's a very pivotal fight for both, man. They're at an age where just time is not on their side at this point. 35 for Calvin Kattar, not terribly old, but definitely not young anymore. And 37 is now you are in the yellow red zone. So, yeah, both guys awesome. Like both guys. A lot of people expecting that shit to go long because of the durability factor. And yes, I absolutely agree. Because no one's really comfortable of paying minus 230 on Calvin Kattar because you don't know what Josh Emmett is going to do. I'll say this, right? As of right now, I do not have any solid action on either side. However, I see a very good live opportunity here. If the fight is close, first round, second round, third round, if we get that far, but we are vigilant and we're paying attention to body language and you observe a momentum swing, that's when you go. So, for example, I'll give you a good example. With Shevchenko and Santos, how I approached that fight and how I was profitable, I did not touch Shevchenko at such a big minus, not even a parlay I did. However, I waited because I thought the price is going to drop live, and it's exactly what happened. When Shevchenko, I think she dropped to like minus. I don't know if she was ever a plus. Maybe she was, maybe for like a second, but the bookies took that away right away. But I definitely remember she was like minus 135. You're going to give me Shevchenko minus 135, and I'm seeing that she's the active fighter from the ground. And even though she got her back, she's throwing punches and she's aggressive and she's, not giving up. And Santos just laying on her and observing punches, whether from the back or in guard, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. She was just getting freaking just smacked up by Shevchenko. You give me that price, I'm going to take it. So maybe same approach can be applied here. Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, first round, clean first round, close, second, third. Now you're seeing some noticeable damage. You going into the championship rounds. That's what happened with Shevchenko. That's what I did. I said, yo, I got 2 rounds with Valentina. Give me Valentina for 2 rounds. And I took it once I saw 135, minus 135. Perhaps there will be a light of opportunity, and if it is, catch it. If you're high on Calvin Kattar, parlay it, because I'm not dishing out straight minus 250 at this point, because that's where he's at on certain books. And, value is on Josh Emmett, but again, you're going to be betting against Calvin Kattar, and that's not an easy task, guys. So, yeah, it is what it is. I don't have a clear winner here. I'm going to go on record and I'm going to pick Calvin Kattar, but I'm super, super unconfident. I'm not confident at all, in fact, because I respect Josh Emmett and his power, his durability, his wrestling, everything about him I respect. So let's just quickly look at the fight statistics here, and we will conclude with that. We haven't ran through this too much, but this is a fight you got to reference. So let me get the arrows here. So significant strikes landed per minute. Calvin Kattar comes to bang with those volume. So that's very significant. The accuracy, ever so slightly. We're going to give a little arrow here. Takedown average. That's what I said. I'm going to give it to Emmett. Takedown accuracy. I'm going to give it to Emmett, Josh Emmett. 47.62 to 29.41. So, yeah, we're going to go. And in terms of submission threat, kind of the same on both sides. If he takes down Calvin Kattar, he's going to do enough work to convince the judges that he's winning the fight. That I have no doubt. If the fight stands standing with a slight 2-inch reach advantage and the volume, I believe Calvin Kattar will outperform Josh Emmett. So the longer the fight goes on the feet, I'm going to favor Calvin Kattar, and the longer the fight stays on the ground, I'm going to favor Josh Emmett. No surprise, right? No surprise at all. So, final verdict, I think you have to look at rounds if you want to play that one, but 4.5 is dangerous because a finish could come from anywhere. I'm just saying, bro. It just takes one big blow from Josh Emmett to really knock down somebody and put somebody in jeopardy. And it takes one elbow strike from Calvin Kattar to put you out. So yeah, love both guys. I'm gonna favor Kattar just ever so slightly. But yeah, this it is what it is. This is just a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. So more just to watch the fight and enjoy, but also consider a live play situation here. Yeah, that's all it is, guys. A couple of announcements. I decided to do I'm gonna do either a weekly or a daily 5 minute check-in. I'm literally gonna call it the 5 minute check-in. Perhaps maybe talk about a topic of the day. Maybe talk about previous fight that was notable, or an upcoming new announced fight. There's a lot of new announced fights that just happened. I believe daily check-ins are a great way for me to do, and it's gonna be a great way to bring more content to you guys. So I definitely see that happening. A weekly, some kind of weekly show. I'm thinking a weekly live show is probably where I'm headed to. But you guys have to like and subscribe, all right? You gotta let's grow this channel, because my favorite part of going live is definitely engaging with all of you. So thank you guys if you guys lasted this long. You guys are absolute champions. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys are profitable with the knowledge that I presented to you. If you have any comments or concerns, you guys know the deal. You guys can comment down below. I read every comment. I respond. You want to send me an email, by all means, battlecage88@gmail.com. Go right ahead. Didn't set up a Twitter, but that's coming. I think I kind of have to get into the Twitter world a little bit. So we'll be going into the socials perhaps next month or the following month. That is coming. But the priority is here. Let's grow the channel. Let's be profitable at the end of the day. Okay, I've said more than I need to. It's Friday. Enjoy your Friday. Have a great afternoon. Great afternoon of fights, and even a night. And then be safe out there. And I'll see you guys next time. Your boy is out here.